And then turn left.
I'm taking my mummy to this place, which used to be our family's favorite lunch spot on a Sunday, and she hasn't been back to this restaurant for a long while. It's located on the fringe of Chinatown, and it's called the Old China Cafe. Mum's office used to be around the corner, and when we come to this restaurant, the Old China Cafe, Dad would park across the street. There was an empty piece of land which was a public car park. That piece of land is all boarded up, so I guess there's some new development going on in this area, which is quite a pity but not surprising because I guess the land is worth millions and millions of ringgit right here in the heart of the city. Hey you, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and thank you so much for tuning in again. And we are doing another foodie vlog in Kuala Lumpur. It's my stomping ground. Now, I just love how Old China Cafe has turned a very typical Chinatown pre-war shop lot into a restaurant with nostalgic vibes. I'm not too sure if this is part of the original feature of the shop lot, but look at these swing doors. Just like out of the old cowboy movies, don't you think so? You won't be able to tell from the interior of the Old China Cafe right now, but this building formerly housed the Selangor and Federal Territory Laundry Association. The association occupied this building way back in the 1920s, and it's one of the many guild halls which you could find in Chinatown then. We used to love coming to Old China Cafe for their Nyonya cuisine. Well, my whole family has a very soft spot for Nyonya food, thanks to my pawpaw. First plate on our table is the lobak. These are also known as 5-spice meat rolls, and essentially they are coarsely grounded mincemeat seasoned with the 5-spice powder and wrapped with the translucent bean curd sheet. Once upon a time, the lobak was served during the festive seasons only, but now you can find it just about any time of the year. And it is said to have originated from the southern Fujian province. Now let's see what else we have here. That's Junior digging into the pineapple prawn curry. And also we have the devil's curry, right up my alley, and the tofu with mincemeat and sambal kangkung. I think that should be enough for the three of us. The Old China Cafe is full of oldie-worldy charm, and if you need to use the bathroom, you'll have to go up quite a steep staircase actually, and when you arrive on top of the landing, it feels as if that you just step back to another period in time. I seem to recall, it's a long while back actually, that this space on the first floor of the Old China Cafe was used as a performance venue in the evening for the Dharma Orchestra. And just to elaborate a little more, the Dharma Orchestra was an ensemble of musicians performing traditional classical Chinese instruments. Oh, by the way, this open space corner is a very typical feature of buildings from that era. That's our Bill Cow theme. And now I think Mum, Junior and I, we are going to take a ramble around Chinatown, and I'm going to show Mum the part of Chinatown which was at one stage so badly neglected. It was towards the end of the 2010s when this little nook in Chinatown, which is between Lorong Panggung and Jalan Petaling, undergone a huge transformation, a huge makeover, and now it has become one of the most Instagrammable spots in Kuala Lumpur. Not that my mum would care much about the Instagrammable part of it. As recent as 10 to 20 years ago, people would avoid this part of Chinatown, the dark alleys and the back lanes, because it was notorious for the unsavory characters who used to hang out around here. It's very much gentrified right now, and it's still known by its original name, which is Kwai Hong, or literally translated, the Little Devil's Lane. It's all very chinoiserie, but this lady looks a bit spooky. Just a few steps through the main archway of Kwai Hong, you will notice that the whole place evokes a very 1960s feel of Chinatown as it was way back then, with the back alleys and the back doors of the shop lots. Well, you're very tempted to take a peek in and see what's happening through the doorways. And the handful of wall murals serve as a very popular backdrop for many Instagram photos. We used to enjoy sitting just one level up and watching the going-ons in Kwai Hong. Quite interesting for people watching, and you can do just that at this cocktail bar. I think we were one of the very first customers in Concubine Bar when it was newly opened, and they didn't even have a proper cocktail menu then. Collectively, the whole area is referred to as Petaling Street. That's when people are talking about Chinatown and they use it interchangeably with Petaling Street. But the truth is, Petaling Street itself is this very street in front of you, and it's also the very street where my grandfather was born. A few years ago, my father handed me some documents for safekeeping, and amongst them were documents belonging to my late Yeye, that's my late paternal grandfather. I can't remember specifically whether it was the birth certificate or the death certificate, but it was clearly stated the place where he was born, and I tried to locate it on Google Maps, and I found out that it's just to the left of what is currently known as the Swiss Inn Hotel. It's just literally a few steps away from here. Chinatown was known as Market Square then, and it's not surprising considering that it was the commercial center and mainly populated by the Cantonese and Hakka communities. Oh, wait a minute. This is something that I always do when I'm here in the evening. That's to pick up a bag of roasted chestnuts. I always tell my friends to just ignore the aspect of Chinatown being the hub for knockoff watches and knockoff handbags, because the fact remains that Chinatown is still a very good place to come to for really nice food, and many of these food outlets in Chinatown have been operated by the same families for generations. Rounding up our evening in Chinatown, I'm bringing Junior back to a place where I spent quite a lot of weekends at, and this is where I used to watch Bruce Lee movies and also James Bond movies. It was the Rex Cinema. Those were the days before Netflix, and it was a very popular cinema amongst the KL denizens. It suffered a bout of fire, and then it was closed down as a cinema not long after that. And at one point, it reincarnated as a backpackers hostel, which was named some dragon or another. It didn't look like a very inviting place then, and then it fell into further neglect and disrepair, and people at one stage totally forgot about the Rex Cinema. Just when it looked as if that Rex Cinema would fade into total oblivion in the memory of KL residents, someone came along and took over the building and breathed a new lease of life into it. Nyonya and I were one of the early customers of the brand new Rex KL, and at that time when it was first reopened, there was the craft beer place where we used to drink bakute craft beer, believe it or not. I recall there was a dim sum stall then which we would order from to supplement our craft beers, and then the other place was a taco stall which was very newly opened. Rex KL was very much a work in progress before COVID, and look at this place now. This is Gobble Guzzle, and it's nice to show you some of my favorite spots in Chinatown. It's time for me to wrap up my vlog for now, and I'll talk to you again real soon. In the meantime, be kind always, spread peace. Jumpa lagi, bye-bye.